Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to Silver Springs State Park in North Central Florida. So we got the food truck, we got the welcome center and gift shop, and a glass bottom boat. This park is known for its glass bottom boats as well as its film and TV history. So let's have a quick snack and then hop on one of those famous boats and I will talk you through all of the cool stuff I learned. These boats were invented in the 1870s, with a gas-powered version being developed later in the 1920s. This half-inch thick glass enables you to see down into the water. The tour itself lasts about 30 minutes, and your guide tells you all about the springs. The eponymous springs themselves are a series of artesian springs with hundreds of millions of gallons of water coming up through the limestone daily. And our guide said that when the water comes out of the ground, it's 99.81% pure, and it's pure enough to drink. The water's clarity was a big reason for all of the filming that's taken place here. Plus, the depth was perfect for underwater filming, so a lot was filmed between 26 and 30 feet underwater, which gives the illusion of deep water without all of the dangers and hassles associated with it. We were told that scenes from over 250 movies, TV shows, and documentaries have all been filmed here, with the first being in 1916 with a film called The Seven Swans. The most famous film is probably Creature from the Black Lagoon, which was filmed in 1954. Silver Springs was one of, not the only one, but one of the places that they filmed underwater scenes from that movie. The main location was Wakulla Springs. As the story goes, Rico Browning, a Florida native, got the part of playing the creature underwater because he could reportedly hold his breath anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes depending on the action he had to perform. So he would swim down some 30 feet, wait for the director to give his cue, and then he would film the scenes. Apart from Creature from the Black Lagoon, there were also scenes filmed here for various Tarzan movies in the 30s and 40s, Rebel Without a Cause, the James Bond movie Moonraker, Smokey and the Bandit 3, as well as a show called Sea Hunt, which ran from 1958 to 1961, starring Lloyd Bridges as an ex-Navy frogman. And also an episode of a show called I Spy, which is what these big fiberglass statues are from.
This trip is known as Crash and Bang. Please take a moment to gather up your phones, wallets, keys.
That was pretty cool. Learned a lot of history in that 30 minutes. Near the entrance to the park, there's a small museum that goes into some of that history, so you can read all about the many things filmed at Silver Springs. They also have this big creature costume on display, and I'm unclear on whether it was actually used in the movie or not. You can also learn about Bruce Mozart, who was one of the pioneers of underwater photography thanks to his waterproof camera housings. In the 1950s, he photographed people underwater doing everyday things in everyday situations, and these photos became part of a big advertising campaign that helped to bring in tons of visitors to Silver Springs. This was not the only marketing campaign in the park's history. Back in the 1920s, Silver Springs had begun a postcard campaign, which painted a very enticing picture of the park with beautiful images enticing people to come and visit. All of this helped to grow Silver Springs into a big tourist destination with various nature-based attractions and rides, and it was hugely successful. But things started to decline in the 1960s after the park changed ownership, and in the 1970s, as you can imagine, Silver Springs began losing business to the bigger theme parks opening up in Florida. So today, it's definitely changed from the way it was in its heyday. Now it is part of a 4,000-acre state park, and it's pretty cool that you still get to ride the famous glass-bottom boats. This says that postcards were originally invented in the 1870s. Until 1907, the message and the photograph were on the same side. Found my favorite sign that you see everywhere in Florida, which is, "Caution, there are alligators." Anywhere here there could be an alligator, and that's terrifying. Oh God. Why are we doing this? Oh my God. Now we're walking to the area where the show Sea Hunt was filmed. Sea Hunt Deck. There seem to be a lot of different paths. The park is obviously bigger than just this one water section, which you can see there. So this is the whole park. Lots of trails. So this is the Sea Hunt Deck. Alligator, no swimming. The show was set in the ocean, but a lot of its scenes were filmed here in Silver Springs. And it inspired many people to take diving on as a hobby for themselves. I have not actually seen this show, but it would be cool to watch given that this is how they looked, and it was sort of the early days of scuba diving when it wasn't as popular an activity as it is today. Now we're power walking to go back to the car to drive 10 minutes to a different part of the park where there's this museum. It closes kind of soon. This is all about sinkholes. Aren't sinkholes the things where houses have been known to just get sucked into the earth in Florida, into a sinkhole that they didn't even know was there? Cast of one of the largest and most complete fossils of the giant short-faced bear ever found in the U.S. I have never seen an armadillo in my life. They don't even seem real to me. But people from Florida see them all the time. Like, what is that? This museum covers, the different eras in Florida history, including the Spanish, when the Spanish were here. I made a video about St. Augustine in Florida, which, if you're interested in Spanish history or European history in present-day America, I would recommend checking that out. I'll link to it somewhere. This display is about Ross Allen's Reptile Institute, which opened at Silver Springs in 1929, and it was a huge attraction. At the institute, they studied and displayed various reptiles. There was feeding and wrestling of alligators, various reptile lectures and demonstrations, including milking rattlesnakes to create antivenom, which I guess was a very popular event. This display is about Paradise Park, which was a separate, segregated park since during the Jim Crow era, African Americans were not allowed into Silver Springs. It ran throughout the 50s and 60s and had many similar attractions to Silver Springs, including glass-bottom boats and reptile exhibits, as well as festivals and beauty contests. And within a few years of opening, it was attracting around 150,000 visitors a year. Eventually, it closed in 1969. So this was used by early scuba divers, a double hose regulator. Here's Lloyd Bridges in an episode of Sea Hunt with that same sort of double regulator. Wow. So this is what the glass bottom boats looked like back in the 1800s when they were invented. And now we have stuff that looks like this. We're back in the car now. I hope you guys enjoyed visiting Silver Springs with me and learning about the interesting film and TV history. And now we're heading to an antique store, so I'm going to end the video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe if you haven't